Hi, this is Brenton Lilly, and I am here to talk about my favorite fantasy characters and what characters I have had the most fun writing when I have written some of my books. So, first, let's sort of just jump into it. When we talk about fantasy characters, the first one that comes to mind that I really enjoyed reading is, of course, Matt Cawthon from The Wheel of Time. I think he's very popular, unless you watch the terrible series on Prime, then maybe you don't like him so much. But if you actually read the books, he's sort of a lovable rogue. He's got a good heart, but he likes to gamble. He likes to flirt. He's just a fun character. Sort of like like a Han Solo type. I think anyone who's read the books, they all have a lot of love for Matt, and I'm still angry with how the series portrayed him on Prime. But anyway, moving on. I would say another character I really loved is, of course, Druss from David Gemmell's novel Legend. Druss is he's just this badass warrior. He's been sort of out of the game for a while, retired, and then he gets news that there is an absolute epic battle coming, and he decides that he would rather go and fight this battle, even though he knows he will probably die, rather than spend another 10 years alone, just sort of wasting away. So he goes there, he fights the good fight. I'm not going to tell you what happens. You've probably read it because it's an old book, but nevertheless, one of my favorite characters. And, as I get older, I kind of relate to him a little bit of wanting a little more excitement, but, that sort of thing. So another character I would say that I really liked was Ren Onsford from The Elf Queen of Shannara, part of the Heritage series, which is some of my favorite books that I've ever read. She's the reluctant leader sort of type. Doesn't really want to take on that sort of responsibility, but it's nevertheless thrust upon her. And suddenly she's got the fate of the entire elven civilization weighing on her. And I really love that book. I love the series. Um, so that's she's probably my third favorite character of all time. And finally, I would say was another popular one, Tasselhoff Burrfoot from Dragonlance. I loved the book Wanderlust. It's pretty silly, but it's very funny, and it just sort of really captures what they're going for with the Kender race on Krynn. I would definitely recommend, if you've never read Wanderlust, if you've only read the Chronicles, I would say go and read Wanderlust. It's a really good book. It's really funny. It sort of gives you some more background on Tasselhoff, and I loved it. So yeah. As far as the books that I've written, my favorite character, the one that I really enjoyed writing the most, was probably Gareth from Honor Carved from Ruin. Just because he's this dude, he's down on his luck. Everything in his life has gone wrong. He's made bad decisions. He's had bad luck. Just his life is crap. It's a pile of crap, and yet he still stays by his own sort of code of honor. He still tries to fight the good fight. He still decides, I'm not giving up. You know, so I thought that he was a fun character to write. From Dark Wolf's Howl, I think probably the best character, the one I enjoyed. I really liked writing Shivani. I thought that she was just very interesting. She had a very complex backstory, and it made it fun to try to flesh that out. Um, I also liked writing from the perspective of the old hag Shigar. Like she's just so mean. It was kind of fun doing that. Yeah, I think those are probably from Dark Wolf's Howl and the Varia series. Those were a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I would say any other characters I think about when I wrote Dak. He's sort of an understated character on purpose because he's supposed to not be quite the narrator, but he's kind of watching what's happening and recording it, and you kind of see a lot of it through his eyes. That was sort of the idea. And then later I tried to give him more of a personality of his own, but I don't know if it was totally successful. But that's why I wouldn't put him as one of my favorite characters to write, just because he sort of changed as I was writing it. But all the characters are usually pretty fun. If you can kind of come up with a backstory about them as you're writing, even if it doesn't fully come out in your novel, you still want that story in your head as you're writing. That way, when it comes to, well, what would they do, or how would they react, you sort of know already. You don't have to think about it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Um, if you have not read Dark Wolf's Howl or Honor Carved from Ruin, check them out. It's on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or on my website, brentonlillyauthor.com. Thank you very much.